Welcome everyone to today's Explainer. Today, we're going to use a framework that medical professionals know all too well, a diagnosis. We're looking at a patient in critical condition, but the patient isn't a person. It's India's premier public healthcare network. We are unpacking the massive crisis facing the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, better known as AIIMS, and looking at the broader brain drain pulling top medical talent completely out of the country. If you care at all about the future of public health, you absolutely need to understand the structural forces at play here.
Let's just start right off the bat with a staggering number: 429. That is the exact number of doctors who quit various AIIMS campuses across India in just 2 short years, between 2022 and 2024. These are some of the brightest medical minds in the country, folks who were trained at heavily subsidized rates by the public, literally walking away from the very institutions built to serve the nation.
Now, what's really interesting about this is when you translate that raw number into a systemic void, the reality is just staggering. This exodus has led to a crippling 35% faculty vacancy rate at Delhi AIIMS alone. Out of 1,306 sanctioned faculty posts there, 462 sit completely empty. We're talking about a 1 in 3 shortfall. And remember, Delhi is the flagship campus. It's the most prestigious of them all. If the crown jewel is struggling this much to retain its experts, it signals a massive underlying pathology in the entire system.
So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, the symptom. Second, the diagnosis. Third, complications. And finally, the treatment.
Okay, moving right into Part 1, Section 1, the symptom, the AIIMS Exodus.
We really need to look closely at this localized crisis because it is spreading across the entire network. While the prestigious Delhi campus leads the pack with 52 resignations, this is by no means an isolated incident. The symptom is metastasizing. Newer campuses designed to bring world-class healthcare to underserved regions are getting hit incredibly hard. We're seeing mass departures in Rishikesh, Raipur, Bilaspur, and Mangalagiri. Take the Tier 3 campus in Raebareli, for example. They are currently facing an astonishing 80% vacancy rate in senior resident doctor posts. They simply do not have the hands required to operate at full capacity, leaving the local population completely stranded.
Section 2, the diagnosis. Why are doctors leaving?
Okay, let's dive into this. Why are top-tier doctors abandoning these highly respected public institutions? Well, we have to start with the most glaring driver, and that is the massive pay gap. A new cardiologist at AIIMS earns around 1 lakh rupees per month. But if that exact same doctor walks across the street to a corporate hospital, they are immediately offered 4 to 5 lakh per month. That's 4 to 10 times the salary. The Indian private healthcare market is absolutely booming. It's reached $122.6 billion for 2025, and it just keeps growing. Against that kind of financial gravitational pull, retaining top talent on capped government salaries becomes nearly impossible.
But, as any doctor will tell you, it is rarely just about the money. Let's break down the non-financial causes. First off, doctors are drowning in administrative burdens and bureaucratic procurement delays. This literally means surgeries get canceled simply because paperwork wasn't processed in time. They're also losing their protected time for research, which historically was a massive draw for joining AIIMS in the first place. Then there's the broken seniority system. Unlike other institutions that rotate leadership, some heads of departments at AIIMS have stayed in their roles for 18 years. This creates a severe bottleneck that stifles the career progression of younger, brilliant faculty. And, practically speaking, there is a severe housing crisis. Rent near AIIMS Delhi is around 40,000 rupees a month. As one doctor bluntly put it, buying a house nearby on a government salary would literally take 2 lifetimes.
Section 3, complications, the impact on healthcare.
So what is the actual impact of this diagnosis? Down at the micro level, inside the hospital wards, the reality is just heartbreaking. Take a listen to this quote from Dr. Milind Padmakar Hote, a cardiothoracic surgeon who actually took voluntary retirement. He noted that administrative delays and doctor shortages cause waitlists for children's surgeries to stretch up to 15 months. He said about 5% of patients on the waiting list died before their surgery date. It was causing me guilt. This is the real human cost of these vacant faculty positions. Patients are dying simply because there aren't enough senior doctors to treat them in time.
And this brilliantly illustrates the macro scale of the problem. This isn't just an AIIMS issue, it's a nationwide brain drain. There are currently over 1 million Indian-trained doctors and 2 million Indian-trained nurses working abroad in countries like the US, the UK, Canada, and Australia. Economists estimate the cumulative economic loss of this exodus at a staggering $160 billion. Why? Because India spends heavily to subsidize medical education.
When those doctors leave permanently, the country forfeits the return on that massive investment, along with decades of lost income tax and pension contributions.
To put that into perspective, the consequence of that massive export of human capital is incredibly stark. India currently has only 8 doctors for every 10,000 people. Compare that to 24 in the US and 26 in China. India is facing a national shortfall of roughly 600,000 doctors just to meet minimum World Health Organization standards. When our best doctors leave for private hospitals or foreign countries, it creates a deeply unequal two-tiered system where rural public facilities languish and urban private hospitals flourish.
Section 4. The treatment. How to stop it.
So, what are the prescribed policy interventions meant to stem the tide? Well, the government's immediate response has basically been to apply a tourniquet. These are stopgap measures desperately aimed at filling empty posts, especially at the newer AIIMS branches. Step 1 involves hiring retired faculty from government medical colleges on a contract basis, allowing them to work up to age 70. Step 2 introduces a visiting faculty scheme to temporarily bring in professors from overseas universities. While these are definitely helpful for immediate emergencies, they're really just temporary bandages, not actual cures.
For a true long-term cure, a National Medical Commission task force has proposed some serious systemic reforms. First up, standardize the AIIMS Delhi pay scale and retirement policies nationwide to ensure equity across all branches. Second, and this is absolutely crucial, implement rotational headships. This prevents career stagnation and allows younger faculty a real chance to lead. Third, prohibit private practice for medical teachers to block any conflicts of interest, but, and this is key, compensate them fairly by providing strong non-practicing allowances. These policies aim to restore the integrity of public medical education and make staying in the public sector a viable, rewarding choice.
Because right now, we are facing a really dangerous paradox. The AIIMS name still holds immense, unparalleled value in the medical community. But tragically, it's increasingly becoming just a stepping stone. Instead of being a lifelong destination where a doctor spends 30 to 40 years serving the public, it's becoming a place young doctors go for just a few years to build their reputation. Then they use that clout to significantly increase their bargaining power when they inevitably leap to the lucrative private sector.
Which leaves us with this final critical question to ponder. Can India reform its public healthcare system fast enough to heal its own citizens? The data we've explored today shows a system that is literally bleeding its top talent. If the structural bureaucracy, pay disparities, and work conditions aren't drastically overhauled, the ultimate cost of this brain drain will continue to be paid by the everyday patients waiting in line. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Think about what this means for the future of healthcare, and keep seeking to understand the systems that shape our world.